All right, returning to Steele and Vance. And Linda, I was going to come in here and say this is one that we're not talking politics because we've been talking a lot of politics on the program when in fact, actually, it is the politics of sport.
And you know what? I'm going to say right up front, World Cup soccer, don't get it. Happy everybody else is super excited like her.
I love it.
But the one thing I am following are the politics around the World Cup and Qatar, especially around LGBTQ rights. So there are these armbands that the players were going to wear that said One Love armband. And
So
this was
great.
going to be saying, we support the queer
silent
community.
Quiet.
right?
They weren't going to say anything. They were just going to wear this.
And then actually the people who were running the event said if the captains wore the armband, they would get a yellow card.
Yeah.
And if they got 2 yellow cards, then you're ejected
Yeah,
off
red
the field,
card.
right?
Yeah,
Is
yeah.
that a red card?
Yeah.
Okay, so see, I know squat about soccer, but I do know that it's not okay to be homophobic. And I wonder what the heck was FIFA thinking?
So let's pause ours and go to somebody who is actually a member of the LGBTQ2 plus community, our handsome Brad, our executive producer. Brad, you are standing by to give us your perspective and opinion before we chime in. So what are you seeing happen at the World Cup?
Well, I appreciate it. We do make a habit on this show of trying to get people who represent what we're talking about to
Yeah.
give their opinion before we start spouting off. So I kind of wanted to point out these guys over my shoulder. It's Team Germany. These are my heroes right now. They've got their hands over their mouth if you can't really tell what's happening because they're saying they've been muzzled. They want to be allies. There's tons of players. They want to be allies here at the World Cup in Qatar, wear an armband, maybe wear some rainbow shoelaces or something like that, just to show support that they're about inclusivity. But of course, we mentioned earlier in the show that Qatar basically outlaws homosexuality, particularly in males. You can't obviously show affection there. It's a threat to your life. You can be stoned to death, killed, arrested, put in jail, which is disgusting. But I've been thinking about it more and more lately. And as a child athlete, I played soccer. Soccer is the most popular sport in Canada. So kids are playing this. Having a huge event like the World Cup in Qatar, what's that saying? To me, it's saying that we hate gay people. We don't support them. If money's at play, that means more than human rights. We're going to go to Qatar instead of standing up for human rights and maybe picking another country who has more rights or more equal rights. It just has been weighing on me as a proud gay man. There is that view that maybe holding these major events like the Olympics, like the World Cup in these countries is maybe going to change something. It's going to put a spotlight on them. It's going to move them into the future and maybe make these countries more progressive. I don't buy that. Look at China, who's had a recent Olympics, Russia, who's had a recent Olympics. How's that going? Human slavery, genocide, homosexuality, propaganda laws in Russia. It doesn't change them. So picking Qatar for the World Cup, it's not going to change anything. In fact, it may make things worse for the homosexual community there. That's what I've been reading lately. And before I swing it back to you, because I want to hear what you have to say, Derek, there's a little bit of a picture of my last trip to Moscow with my husband right before the Olympics. This is our little bit of a screw you to Putin and his propaganda laws. But the sad part about that is there was a security officer looking around for suspicious behavior, and Scott and I could have been put in jail for showing our affection in Red Square, which makes me a little bit emotional that that's the case and things haven't changed since they held their Olympics. And what's the reason why they go to these countries? I think maybe you might know, and I want to hear what you have to say about it. Thanks for the opportunity.
Thank you, Brad.
Well said, Brad.
Wow, I mean, it's tough as someone who doesn't have to face that kind of discrimination. And I know there's been a controversy about people saying, well, why are our federal officials or civic officials going? And in fact, I think we actually have a photo of the new Vancouver mayor, Ken Sim, who's missed a couple of meetings recently because he had actually already booked this trip to Qatar to see the game. So Ken Sim was doing a selfie. There he is.
Right.
Excited to be there. And people saying, oh, how dare you go and you're missing this and whatever. And I'm thinking, okay, the guy probably booked that trip a long time ago.
Definitely did. We talked about this last week. You don't get a ticket to the World Cup. I'm just going to speak as a sportscaster here because I think we've touched on really relevant issues. Watching the money and the exclusivity that comes with events, as like Brad brought up, the Olympics or FIFA, you have to plan years in advance to go to something like this. It's not like Ken Sim was the mayor and somebody had alluded to perhaps he would have a accreditation around his neck and there'd be something. It's like, okay, there's a lot that we can do as a society to challenge back. I would challenge FIFA and say this was an opportunity for you to push back on the Qatari government and say, you know what? The armband stays. And if you don't like it, cancel this. Because you know the Qatari government, just one second, you know the Qatari government paid a ton, millions and millions of dollars to change the time of year of the World Cup and to stage it in, and with all of the news stories that are around it. And on top of it all, because drinking is frowned upon in this country, they decided at the very last minute to pull Budweiser from the stands. Budweiser paid $75 million to be a sponsor in this event. Did you hear the news today what Budweiser's doing? Their stock's way up. The winning country of the World Cup.
Here's the thing, though.
Linda told you.
Sorry.
That's okay.
Why haven't
Cheers. I love you.
Qatar in the first place? How about let's not go there? Didn't Canada want to host it? How about
we
that?
will host it. Yeah.
Well, so
I know. She's
enough
mad.
about that. I'm done with that. How about human rights? How about that? I'm sick of
We're going to make you happy. We're gonna
disregarding human rights for the almighty dollar.
Correct. That's why we started a new part of the show that's coming at the end of the show called Happy Endings.
Yeah.
And we have a little something. Here's a teaser of what Happy Endings is going to be like. You found this. I love this. So have a listen to this. See? Made Linda happy. Okay, now what's coming up next?
Well, stay tuned. We'll tell you more about that. But when we come back, renters are cheering the news that stratas have to drop their rental restrictions. But critics say it could lead to even bigger problems with real estate speculation in BC.